I was discussing with Ms. Makaure in the afternoon, and I was saying to him, you know, most people they really don't understand resets. They are actually the easiest thing anyway, among everything else, but people don't understand them. They really don't understand how they work, how they come in the market. So someone is saying, what time are we starting? Because I can only see your worship song on your screen. We have already started. I don't know. Maybe it's your network. Arthur, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see it.
It's a wide screen. Eh?
Yeah, I'm seeing your writing tab.
So I'm sure maybe it's the network. For those who are having problems with network, you can still watch this video on YouTube. We are going to send copies, links, etc. and all that. And also, the good news is, guys, tomorrow we basically, I'm sure we are going to have basics on the strategy ICT. For those who know inner circle trading, we are trader. We are going to have that those basics on that strategy. Then on, I think it's 1 day, if not 2 days. But our next strategy from ICT, we are going to be talking about price action. I'm not the one who is going to be addressing these topics, but we have got people. So the whole point of these meetings is to empower each other. So like I said, guys, I know some of these things, maybe you'd be knowing them. It doesn't kill going back or hearing them from someone else different. The whole point here is to empower each other. So let's cooperate. Yesterday, there are some people who were writing on the screen, of which it's not something good because we are trying to help each other and someone is just trying to be funny along the way. So I'm just trying to say, guys, let's agree and let's just do one thing. The whole point is for us to learn, because if you do that, I'm not going to call the ICT and price action and the other strategies that you know, I'm not going to call those guys if you do that, because if they come here, they will say we are disorganized. So please, the whole point is to support each other and get that basic knowledge. For 14 days, we'll be home. So at least we are having something to do as traders. We're empowering each other. We're empowering our community. So let's cooperate and work together. So today, we are going to be dealing with a topic, resets. We're going to be dealing with the topic resets. I know resets. Like I said, today is our last day of BTMM. Then on the next day, we are going to be talking about ICT. So I'm going to talk about resets. Once I'm done talking about resets and maybe showing you a couple of examples, then Ms. Makaure will take over and add whatever he wants to add on resets according to the way he understands them. Remember, I said that this is a very huge strategy and you can pick any style you want. You can modify it the way you want. So we can understand it in different ways. So it is very good to know these things in different ways. Like you saw on the first day, I was the one who was speaking. On the second day, he was the one who was speaking. So the whole point is I can also sit down and listen to him talk and learn from him. So today we are going to be talking about resets. Now, someone may ask, what is the definition of a reset? In simplicity, the definition of a reset is a peak. A reset is a peak, full stop. So where we talk about peak formation, a reset also does the same thing as a peak, but a reset has got differences now in terms of its rules of formation. There are slightly bit of differences in terms of rules of formation, but a reset is still a peak like any other. All right. So don't worry, for those who are saying we're having problems with audio, I know maybe you're having problems with your network, but we are going to record the video we're recording a video. So a peak reset is a peak. Now, a peak reset is used to continue a previously completed trend. A peak reset is generally used to continue a previously completed trend. I hope this makes sense, guys. So what are we saying here? All right. We spoke about a market maker cycle. If you can all remember, we spoke about a market maker cycle that was on the first day, and we said our market maker cycle is like this. All right. So we said this is our market makers cycle. And then we labeled it very well. And we said this is a peak formation, and that is our level 3. And we said this is our first pullback and is level 1. And we said this is our second pullback and it's level 2. And we said this is our third pullback and it's level 3. And we said it's a peak formation low. So these are the, this is the cycle, the complete cycle. Now, let me say this. A peak reset, we said it is there to continue a previously completed trend. Now, I'm not going to talk about the two types of peak resets, a confirmed peak reset and a non-confirmed peak reset. Mr. Makaure is going to address that issue. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Mr. Makaure is going to address that issue of confirmed and non-confirmed. I'm only going to talk about a peak reset in general, how a peak reset works. So he's going to go in detail about a non-confirmed and a confirmed peak reset. So a peak reset, what we are simply saying is, now that we have this completed trend that has moved for about, maybe let's say 3 to 5 days of move, a peak reset will then come and form a new peak formation right here. It will come and form a new peak formation and continue 3 more levels and continue 3 more levels. So in other words, we are saying this is what we call a peak reset. This is what we call a peak reset. So what we are saying about a peak reset is that it is there to complete is there to continue a previously completed trend. Now, I want you to understand that the reason why the dealer continues a previously completed trend, it is because of the demands of higher time frame. It is because of the demands of higher time frames. Because of the demands of higher time frames. So in other words, we are simply saying that, let's say M15, let's say M15 moves 3 levels down and forms a peak formation low for M15, all right? Then these 3 levels on M15 is equals to 1 level on H1. Meaning to say that 3 levels on H1 is equal to 1 level on H4. 3 levels of H4 is equal to 1 level on T1, etc., etc., etc. So it means that if H1 still wants to complete 3 levels, M15 will then have to reset and continue going down. We'll have to reset and continue going down. Now, if H1 wants to have 3 levels as well, it means that M15 will have 3 times 3, which is 9 levels. So in other words, it means that M15 is then supposed to reset again and continue 3 more levels down. Now, the moment we see this, we then say the 1 hour time frame has completed all its levels. So we need 9 levels for us to say we have 3 levels on H1. This then means that H4 will only be having that H4. Why? Because 3 levels on H1 is equal to 1 level on H4. 3 levels on H1 is equal to 9 levels on M15. I hope this makes sense, guys. I hope this makes sense, guys. So this is exactly how a peak reset shows out. This is exactly how a peak reset shows out. Someone is saying, yes, it makes sense. Yes, it does. So then I'm going to continue if we are agreeing. So that's exactly how a peak reset forms. It means that M15 has to move 9 levels for us to say that H1 has moved 3 levels. Then it means H3 has to move 3 levels for us to say H4 has moved 1 level. So this is basically what we say is a peak reset. So it means all these are peak resets. All these are peak resets because they are continuing a previously completed trend. Now, let me be clear with you. Never ever tell me about a continuation of a cycle if you didn't first show me a previously completed cycle. What do I mean by that? We are saying a peak reset forms at 200 EMA, no matter which time frame, all time frames. It forms at 200 EMA. So if it forms on all time frames, now this is what it means. It means that the cycle that I drew for you, which is the 1 hour cycle, like this, it means the 200 EMA will be moving right there. The 200 EMA will be moving right there. So this means that if we move 1 push, 2 push, 3 push, peak formation low for M15, we reset on the 200, we move 1 push, 2 push, 3 push, peak formation low on the M15, we reset on the 200, 1 push, 2 push, 3 push, bigger peak formation low on H1. Bigger peak formation low on H1. Bigger peak formation high on H1. So you can see that we are coming from a bigger peak formation high, then we move 3 pushes down, back to a reset on 200, 3 pushes down, back to a reset on 200, 3 pushes down, then we get to our LOD. That's exactly how we see our peak formations. Now, there are other peak formations. Normally, I really don't teach about them, but they are there that form crossovers of other EMAs. I'm not going to mention them. I'm going to teach you about this one because this is the most basic peak reset that you should know about. So, right, guys, it then means that if this is the case, it then means that on H1, these M15 peak resets will be happening on 200 EMA. So it means on H1, they will be happening on 50 EMA. Why am I saying so? It's because a bigger EMA on a smaller EMA on a bigger time frame is a bigger EMA on a smaller time frame. A smaller EMA on a bigger time frame is a bigger EMA on a smaller time frame. So in other words, it simply means that, in other words, all right, EMA means moving averages, exponential moving average. So in other words, it simply means that 13 EMA on D1 is the same position where we have the same position where we have the 50 EMA on H4, the same position where we have the 200 EMA on H1, the same position where we have the 800 EMA on M15. Even if you take a cross and you place where you have a 13, if you open H4, you will find a 50. If you open in H1, you find a 200. If you open in M15, you find an 800. So it means that if we see a setup on D1 like this, and the 13 EMA is crossing right there, the 13 EMA on D1, it means that on H4, this is an ID50. On D1, it's just an entry close above 13 EMA. On H4, it's an ID50. On H1, it means it's a reset because it will be a 200 EMA. On M15, it means it's a peak formation. I know some of you are already asking me, how did I see that? Anyway, we are going to address it some other time. Now, so the whole point is we reset on the 200 EMA on all time frames. I was simply trying to address the issue that don't see, I don't want you to show me a picture of a price at 50 EMA and you tell me this is a peak reset, unless if you are talking about a peak reset on a different time frame. So now, this is what it means. It means that if you see price at 200 EMA and you tell me that you saw a reset, the first question that I'm going to ask you is, where is the previously completed trend? Why? Because for you to tell me about a peak reset, I first want to see a previously completed trend. I first want to see this previously completed trend. Then we are going to talk about a peak reset. I hope this makes sense. So I'm not going to waste time. Now I'm going to go and show you on the charts an example of a peak reset. I'm going to go to the charts and show you an example of a peak reset. Thank you for all the guys who are joining in and those who are sending comments. Thank you so much, guys. This is a learning platform. We are all learning. So thank you for your cooperation and let's continue. Now, from our chart, I was looking at one of the pairs and I brought out a very good chart from this pair. Right. This is USD try. Now I want you to see something. USD try forms a peak formation there, right there. Peak formation low. Now this is our level 3 peak formation low. This is our level 1. I'm marking consolidations here. This is our level 2. And there is our level 3 right there. So meaning what's in between is our ADR. All right. Now after this peak formation high, then it pulls back down to the 200 EMA right there. Now, this is what we call a peak reset. And it forms our new level 3 there. Peak reset. And then it continues going up level 1, goes up level 2, and it gets to level 3. Peak formation high. And what does it do? It pulls back to the 200 EMA and forms again what we call a peak reset. Can you see it, guys? This time frame is H1. This time frame is H1. Because we said we want to count our levels using H1. So what it does is, this is USD try. I know some of you, they hate exotics, but exotics are so clear. They always present their levels clearly. Now, this is level 1 right there. That becomes our level 2 right there. So this pair is now on level 3. This pair is now on level 3. It's now working on level 3. So we don't know whether it's going to come back down and reset or it's going to go up. But I'm thinking to myself, maybe this is the time for the pair to go down. Why? Because I realized that on my monthly chart, I know this is not part of the lesson, but I realized that on my monthly chart, this is actually a second leg. It's actually a second leg of our monthly chart. So we are expecting to sell USD try forever and ever. That is it. So, but anyway, this is not our focus point. Our focus is solely on peak resets. So this is exactly, guys, how you mark peak resets. This is exactly how you mark peak resets. Now, so it means that all these 3 moves here, the 3 levels, to our H1, we have 9 levels. On H4, from where I started marking, it means we have 3 levels. On D1, it means we have 1 level. So I'm just showing you how we count our levels. Now, I want us to shift our time frame and look at H4 and see, why is this pair continuously buying like this? We could have earned so many pips from it just by resetting since from day 1, from where I marked the levels. Now let's see from our 4-hour time frame. From our 4-hour time frame, you can see for yourself that you have a peak formation there. You move your level 1, level 2, you get to level 3, you come to your reset, you move again 3 levels on H1, which is 1 level on H4, you get a reset again. Can you see? So it means that resets, they always form where at 200 EMA, regardless of any time frame, they form at 200 EMA. So this is how your resets, they appear on big time frames. This is how your resets appear on big time frames. Now I want us to go to maybe a pair like USD chef. Maybe let's look at USD chef. Now we want to look at resets of M15. We now want to look at resets of M15. All right. Resets of M15. For those who are late, I understand you are going to get the recording. Don't worry. Right. Now, I removed a lot of indicators from this chart. You can see that there is nothing written anymore. It's just a blank chart with moving averages. The reason why I did that is because I wanted it to be clear for you so that you can best see what I will be talking about. Now, I want you to look at this. From this chart, we have what we call a peak formation there. Okay, sorry, let me look for another pen that is more clearer. We have what we call a peak formation there. And remember, I said 3 pushes on M15 is actually one level on H1. So in other words, what it simply means is that M15 has to push 3 times down, form a peak formation low, and then reset and push again, continuing just like that, like the way I showed you previously. So now, this is our peak formation. This becomes our first push. This becomes our second push. This becomes our third push. Then this becomes our peak formation low on M15. I know we call these HODs and LODs. The reason why I'm using peak formation high and peak formation low, I'm just trying to use the same terminology of the market maker cycle so that you can best understand. Because I know someone will start asking, is an HOD the same thing as a peak formation low or high? So can you see that after forming this, the dealer then reverses back to the 200 EMA. Now, this is what I call a reset after 3 pushes. Then he pushes again down, 1, 2, he finishes his pushes the following day. He gives us a peak formation low again, and he pulls back to give us a reset again. And he pushes down again, 1, 2, 3. He then comes to a new peak formation low. So this simply means that on H1, we now have 3 levels. So the London patterns that we were talking about yesterday, no wonder why you were asking and saying, why are we using the 200 EMA? Why is the 200 EMA used as a bias for these LOD or HODs? Why are they following the 200 EMA? They are following the 200 EMA because that's where we get peak resets. That's where we get peak resets. 1, 2, 3, new peak, a reset. 1, 2, 3, new peak, a reset. 1, 2, 3, new peak, a reset. So that's where we get our peak resets. That's the reason why you were asking why the 200 EMA out of all EMAs. It is because the 200 EMA is where we get peak resets. This one is M15 time frame. This one is M15 time frame that I'm using here. The other one that I was using was H1 and H4. This one now is M15 time frame. So guys, now it's 10:30. So it's 10:30. I'm done with I'm done with my presentation. So Arthur will then start his this is 3,000, this is 3,200 EMA, 3,200 EMA. This is the paper one. Someone is asking which EMA is this. This is 3,200 EMA. So now Arthur is going to then come in and talk about types of resets. I've told you how resets works. So now you know how they work. So he's going to talk about types of resets. After he's done talking about type of resets, then from there we are going to tackle a few questions on these peak resets. We are going to tackle a few questions. From there we'll be done. Then we end our session and we get ready for tomorrow to be learning about ICT, inner cycle trading. So Arthur, I'm going to stop sharing my screen now and then give the floor to you. Thank you guys for your patience. I hope you are enjoying. So you can take over now.
Okay, can you all guys hear me? Can you hear me, Bongeni?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Okay, no problem. Hello, guys. I hope you're having a wonderful evening. So we now want to move on to other types of resets. So Bongeni talk you through the other type of resets, which is commonly formed in the market, which actually tells us how the market moves. So the reset that he was talking about is one of the most important resets that we have, because in the long run or in the general trend, that's how the market will be moving. Completing smaller time frame levels, resetting, continuing with the trend. So generally, that's how the market moves. If you master that, then you are home and dry. So I want to talk about the other type of reset. I usually call it a type 2 type of reset. So with this type of reset now, it also happens after a completed trend. After a completed trend, let's say we have a previously completed trend. Then we are all the way in level 3. So what happens? We know that after a previously completed cycle, the market must reset. Either is going to reset, which means we expect them to drop. Then they, in this case now, we have a scenario whereby they come down one level, they go back up to the peak, and instead of continuing with the trend, they then create another peak, then they start going down. So a type 2 reset, or this kind of reset, it usually forms when the market wants to create macro structure M's and W's. It happens when they want to create macro structure M's and W's. So after completing the first cycle, they come down one level. We call this level 1. Then they go back to the peak. Then they reset. Remember, a reset becomes a new peak formation. From what you were told earlier, a reset becomes a new peak formation. So how I label this one is I call this a level 1 drop. Then I say they go back to the peak. Then they create a reset peak. Then they start to go down. So in a way, they'll be creating a macro structure, especially if it appears on the bigger time frame. If you see it on the 1 hour time frame, it simply means they'll be making an M formation for the 4 hour. So if you see a structure like this forming on the 1 hour, if you check the 4 hour, they'll be actually forming an M formation for the 4 hour. So usually they come and reset at the 200 EMA. They come and reset at the 200 EMA. So this is how I mark this type 2 reset. But other people that already know about it, they label it a bit different. They come, and this one, which I'm calling level 1, they call it a reset. They call it a reset, and they call this level 1. The reason why is because before we see this move to the downside, the market is at some indecision point whereby you don't really know where the market wants to go. So let me rub off a certain area so that you can be able to understand what I'm trying to say here. Like I said, after a previously completed cycle, we know that if they are going to reset to continue with the trend up, they are supposed to do this, then create a reset, then they continue a previously completed trend. But in this case now, instead of breaking the high, which was created by the previous peak or by the previous cycle, remember this is a peak formation. This is also a peak formation. So instead of breaking the peak which was created by the previous cycle, they just go back to that peak, then they go down like this, creating an M formation for the bigger time frame or for the macro structure time frames. So we call this a non-confirmed reset. In a case whereby if it is a reset to continue with the trend, it should break the previous peak and continue and continue with the trend, thereby calling it a non-confirmed reset. So we have got two types of resets, a non-confirmed and a confirmed on this particular part of the resets, whereby if they come and retest the peak and starts to go down, we call it a non-confirmed reset. We call it a non-confirmed. Call it a non-confirmed. Then if they do a previously completed cycle, then they come down, then they break this high or this peak, we now call it a confirmed reset. It is now like the one which were taught in the first session with Bongeni. So this type of reset and this one, they only differ in a way in which they present after the peak formation. So if this becomes a confirmed reset, we call it a confirmed. We call it a confirmed. We call it a confirmed reset. So the difference is how the market will then present itself after a previously completed cycle. So if they break this peak, going for another cycle, we now call it a confirmed reset. This we call it a non-confirmed. And a non-confirmed, you usually see it when they are forming an M or a W formation for the bigger time frames. You can even see it even on smaller time frames. I'm not really saying you only see it on bigger time frames, even on smaller time frames. So let me show you an example of the non-confirmed type of reset. And like I said, in some books, you might find this one that I'm labeling as level 1. Some they call it the reset, like, because if the market comes down and is supposed to continue going up, we call it a reset. But if the market, I call it a level 1. And so it's either a level 1 or a reset. The reason why I call it a level 1 or a reset is because once the market comes down here, it drops level 1. There is a possibility that it might still continue to go down. making this a level 1. But if it doesn't and goes up, then it then becomes a reset. So it all depends with how you are looking to label it, because if the market does this, there are two possibilities: to go back up to the peak to form a non-confirmed, or break the peak and form a confirmed. So let me show you an example of a non-confirmed reset. I think I saw it. Let me switch to my charts. I think on odd JPY, let me switch to, let me change my template so you can actually see what I'm trying to. So with odd JPY, you can see that we had a previously completed cycle, and they came here now to create a peak right above there. They came down one level, which I call a level 1 or a reset. They went back up to the peak to retest that area again. So at the end of the day, they were forming an M formation for the 4-hour time frame. So if I switch this area to the 4-hour time frame, it will be an M formation. And like we said, they come to the 200 EMA, which is here, then go back up to form a non-confirmed. So if I switch, let me switch that area to the 4-hour. So you're gonna actually see, if I switch to the 4-hour, you can see that it was an M formation that we're forming. On that, we're forming an M formation, giving rise to the non-confirmed reset. I think there's also another example that I can even use. I can even use this one, it's still fine. You can see we have a peak formation. Then we did our 3 ADRs. We created a peak low. The market went up to the 200 EMA, which I now call a level 1 or a reset, comes down to test the peak, then went back up. So going to the 4-hour time frame, it will be a W formation that was formed for the 4-hour. So when they create M's and W's for bigger time frames, they form over a long period of time, and it can take, depending on the time frame, it can take days or even weeks. And as Bongeni was saying, that 3 levels plus a reset on the 15-minute time frame will be actually equal to 1 level on the 1-hour time frame, which means that you can see this whole move happening in about 2 or even 3 days sometimes. You can even see the market coming down for even 2 or more days, then it starts to go up. So you can expect 15-minute pushes around here. You can expect another 15-minute pushes. If it's on the 1 hour, then the market can continue to go up. Then that's the type 2 or the non-confirmed type of reset. The confirmed one is the opposite of what we're just doing, whereby they continue with the trend that we're previously taking, which gives rise to the 1 the type of reset which were taught at first. So I don't know if anyone have got a question before we move.
So far, no question. So I think maybe just you can just finish up. We're left with 10 minutes. Then maybe after finishing up, I think you can maybe make an analysis on ODJPY on 15 minutes, so that at least we have one signal for tomorrow. Then from there, I think we'll be all cool.
Okay, so I want to move on to what I call the type 3 type of reset. So with the type 3 type of reset, it forms on the 15-minute time frame. I call it a type 3 type of reset. It forms on M15, which means you only see it on the 15-minute time frame. That's where you see the type 3 type of reset. So like we said, if a reset occurs after a previously completed trend, so after completing 15-minute pushes or 15-minute levels, in this case, let's say we're on the 15-minute chart and they do 3 levels on M15. So instead of the market reversing, the market starts to consolidate until they give an Asian session for the next day. Then after giving the Asian session for the next day, they can just continue to consolidate until the next day, giving rise to another type of reset that we have. So if you usually see 2 Asian boxes in the same range, we call that a reset. Then from such a structure, you know a stop hunt must always be done against the real trend. And you can expect the market to give you a stop hunt high, then start another 15-minute cycle. Then we have a type 3 kind of reset. So there are different variations in the way that it presents. It can even present like this. Then they give you an Asian session. Let's say we've got the 3 levels. Then they go up, they go down. Then they come back for another day. So it forms over a period of 2 days. Since you see 2 Asian boxes, then they start to go down. Then this is also a reset. We call it a reset there. So this is a type 3 kind of reset. So let me show you an example of the type 3 kind of reset. It was presenting sometime at the beginning of the year when we were on Euro USD and Euro JPY. So let me look for those charts so that you can actually see them. So at the end of the day, you can see this will be one level, approximately one level on the 1 hour time frame. And the reset is to make sure that we continue with the cycle to continue to go down so that we can complete higher time frame levels. So let me show you an example. Let me share my screen. Let me look for Euro USD. Yeah, I can even use Euro JPY. You can see that we had, we're coming from an uptrend. We're coming from an uptrend, then the market actually did a reset and created an HOD here. It was also a reset to that. Then the market started to give us 3 pushes. The market gave us 3 pushes, 1, 2, 3. After giving us the 3 levels of the M15 time frame, they started to consolidate, gave us an Asian session. They came back tomorrow for another Asian session. Then they came to reset on the 200, then started another cycle down. So if I'm to move my chart from this position here, they continued to go down for another cycle. So let me push it right there. You can see that this was our reset area. They did a stop and high reset on the 200. Then they gave us another 3 pushes for another cycle. I can also show you an example on Euro US dollar. There we had our 3 pushes. We had our 3 pushes there, our 15-minute levels. After completing, they gave us a reset here. Then after giving us a reset, they continued with the trend down. They reset on the 200 EMA, then started to continue to go down. So if I am to show you after, this is where the reset was done. They started to give another cycle again after doing that reset. So that's basically the types of resets that we have. I don't know if there's anyone with a question there.
So the question was, someone is talking about ODJPY, the one I was talking about as well. He's saying that, can we open ODJPY and try to plot the M15 resets, the M15 resets? They are saying that there is a potential that maybe tomorrow there might be a good trade there.
On ODJPY, looking at ODJPY, our trend, so we are doing an analysis for tomorrow, right?
Yes, for M15, yeah.
Okay, fine. So looking at ODJPY, we already have a high of the week, which is set. We now have a good peak formation. We've got a big macro M formation. Then the market, so which means our trend is going down. We have got our 3 15-minute levels already. So the move of today, it was for a reset, and we're expecting a continuation of going down. Why? Because 1-hour levels are still not complete. So our anticipation is to keep on selling. So if I go to the 1 hour, we can notice that on the 1 hour, we are still in level 1 on 1 hour, which means we have to continue to go down, which is the general direction of the market. And looking at the 1 hour time frame, we have got a potential golden cross, which is likely to form around this area. We've got a potential golden cross. So we can have a pullback to the cross and the market can continue to go down. So looking at M15, where we are likely to take our trades, best entries are taken at M15. So let me highlight this area here, where we are likely looking to take our trade tomorrow, somewhere around this zone. If I switch back to M15, I can safely say that we have a 50-200 cross here. And since it happened today, we are expecting a safety trade to actually form tomorrow. And with the way the EMAs, they are moving, we are likely to have this 200 EMA moving around that area. We are likely to have the 800 also close to that. Then we are going to have we have a potential, our Asian session is likely to form starting from there. We are likely to have an Asian session right here. start consolidating. So which means you can expect our HOD tomorrow to form around this area, and we are going to continue to go down. So tomorrow we are expecting an HOD to form around the 200 EMA on M15. It is also a pullback to the golden cross on the 1 hour, which is also after a reset of a previously completed M15 time frame to continue to go down. And what else? Looking at also, I think that is all. Do you want to add anything on this, on OJPY? So on OJPY, we are looking for them to form an HOD around the 200 EMA.
Yes.
It will be also back to the golden cross, and they're going to continue down.
That's basically I think all about ODJPY, because we were given a nice HOD there. Then we were given that type of reset which you were talking about, the level 1 type. Then we were given a new HOD there. So meaning it's something like this. It's something like this with the 200 EMA crossing there. And we were given first push, second push, third push. We were given an HOD today. Now they pulled back to a reset on 200 EMA. So we are expecting them to consolidate and end the day and come again for it, if possible, and go down. If not, because this is an odd pair, if not, they might move during Asian session, but we are expecting them to give us another one because there is a golden cross on H1. So there is a possibility that they can pull back to that golden cross before they move down. So please don't miss the setup. It's going to be a paying setup. So I think that is all for now, guys. Thank you so much, Say, for a nice teaching. We have said a lot of things about resets, and I'm sure you people now understand. And I want to stress this out. Please, the same knowledge, you can actually apply it on indices. It's one and the same thing. It's only a matter of taking the knowledge and applying it there. It will always come out the same way. Don't think that volatilities move in a different way. They show different things. It's one and the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same strategy that I'm using on indices. So I'm going to show you tomorrow, before we start the ICT program, I'm going to show you a few of indices, movements of the cycle, how the resets, they present themselves, but it's just one and the same thing. Like yesterday, we showed you on indices. I'm going to show you again tomorrow. For now, we are going to end the session, and then let's prepare for ICT tomorrow. We are going to be learning about ICT. So there is our brother, he's here, he has been here since day one. He has been listening to the BTMM. So it's now time for us to then come again and teach us about ICT. Then when we are done with the basics also of ICT, we are then going to price action. We are going to look further again if there are any strategies that we have no knowledge of, where people want to share them. They can still come and share them. And please, please, guys, we say this is a learning platform. It's not a platform to show off. It's not a platform for people to come and show us that they know something. This is a platform for learning. So even if you're explaining something, explain so that we learn. We don't want to keep on saying this person is just doing a show off. So, and also you guys who are listening, please, 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 today you behaved very well. Let's be attentive, and let's follow the rules of the course and move on together, agreeing in one thing. So I hope you guys enjoyed. So have a beautiful evening, and we are going to meet again tomorrow, same time, and tackling a new topic altogether. I hope you enjoyed.